8 minutes.
And thank you, Minister. And as previous speakers have said, as we know, over the course of the two-day European Council summit in Brussels this week, the EU leaders will discuss Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine and the continued EU support to Ukraine, as well as the economy, security, defence, migration and external relations. And you know, it is important, and I feel, Minister, we have had a lot of challenges in the last year or two, and I really believe that communication and information will be key here on all these summits, because it is important on the information, particularly to do with migration and how we can do what we can do to the best of Ireland's ability to make sure that we do it right and that we do communicate it back to the people we represent. But today I would like to just go on climate change, because I know a lot of speakers have spoken on what I was going to originally speak about, and I'd like to ask about funding coming to Ireland for water quality and for the climate change and for local councils to investigate issues of environmental concern. Because under the EU good agricultural practices for the protection of waters regulation, it is all under the county councils who enforce powers of investigation, and they also have powers in relation to air pollution. Now tonight I'm actually going to speak about water quality, Minister, and I know it's a different thing to do with septic tanks and water. We would have seen all the papers today on the huge concern on that. Again, air pollution, climate change. But I have a huge issue. Last week, within my own county of Carlow and the borders of Laois, there was a huge smell all around the place. And there was, I believe it was some kind of a sewerage spreading, and I passed all the details on to our local council and to the Environmental Protection Agency. And look, I got no answer back and I got no word. But it's just a small example, but it's something that we have to be very mindful of. Like, I had people who were stuck in their homes, unable to open windows because of the smell. During this, and this was during the real heat wave now. And you know, Minister, I was going around visiting the people and talking to them, and like, I couldn't give them an explanation, and all they were saying to me is, oh, you know, now we're in Europe and we're very much now working with the government on climate change and, of course, helping with migration whatever way we can. And these were all older people, so I'm just asking that we need to look at these issues and look at funding where it's possible, because these are issues within our own area. But for someone that, you know, that is working within the community, as is other local TDs and ministers, like, I just feel, for talking about climate here now and climate change within our EU, we have to start at home, and unless we try and work on the issues that are affecting us locally and affecting our air, I just feel I could get no information, Minister. I tried the local authorities, nothing came back. I'm just wondering, could we put something or some plan in place that we look at resolutions and we look at funding for this? Again, Minister, I can only highlight, I know this summit is very important. I know all the EU leaders will meet to discuss what has happened in Russia, and of course we have to support our Ukrainians. But again, I just would ask that communication and information is going to be key here to come back to us on what we can do to support those in most need. Thank you.